All right. We're on. There we go. Thank you very much. This week, the Ravorisports Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. So, see Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. So definitely, if you need any help with your business or your legal needs, we can definitely go to see Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Definitely check that out on Facebook. If you need any help with your legalities or anything like that, that can help you. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Oh, okay. Get that light on. So, see Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Ravorisports.company.site. Man, if we got a major announcement next week about the website, new deal partnership that we have. So definitely very excited about that. Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com. So definitely we will go ahead and get that squared away as well. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Again, at the bottom of the screen. All right, little trouble getting hooked up to Twitch here, so we're going to keep trying here. If not, we'll just go ahead and do the Twitch after the live. More draft. The NFL selection meeting 2025, better known as the draft. So we had some surprises in the drafts. We had calls for racism. We had Mel Kiper going bananas. We had all type of weird stuff going on the draft. This was about as strange as one as I've ever seen as far as the draft. So we're going to go over that. Obviously, we're going to talk about Shatur and Mel and all the other fun stuff. And NBA playoffs going on. We're going to go there as well. And also, too, we are going to talk about the Orioles. We're going to recap the month and talk about what's going on this week right now. Orioles 5-4 right now in the seventh. O'Hearn is, from what I can see at play, just got on with a walk. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over the draft. So the first pick was no surprise to anyone. For months, we've talked about Cam Ward going number one. The Titans all but say, I think this is their next Steve McNair that they're going to have. So Cam Ward's going to be the number one quarterback going forward. Will Levis is still going to be around as the backup, but absolutely no surprise. Travis Hunter going second isn't a shock, but it's where he went. He was traded to the Jaguars. So that's a big surprise. I didn't think the Jaguars were going to try as hard. I mean, they gave up a lot to give him. I mean, they gave up a second round. They gave up a one next year to move up 3 spots and get what a lot of people thought, and I thought as well, the number one player in the entire draft, Travis Hunter. So that's a lot, and he is going to play both ways. So we've never seen this. We've never seen a guy play offense and defense at the same time. They're going to do everything they can to actually have a guy for the first time ever play on both sides of the ball. So the only time he's going to ref is halftime with special teams. Interesting. We'll see. This is big gamble, I think. Not a gamble. Maybe it's too strong a word, but this is a lot that they're taking on here. Abdul Carter wanted to wear 56. Lawrence Taylor's number. He's not going to get to wear it. LT said no, but he is going to play for the Giants. I think best pass rush in the draft. I think not for Travis Hunter. He would be the number one player in the draft. Will Campbell, I think the biggest need that the Patriots had was actually offensive tackle. So I think that was a need for them. I think a lot of people predicted that as well. Mason Graham, number 5. So we had the spot right for Mason Graham, but just the team. So the Browns moved down. Hopefully the Browns can maneuver this right for their sakes, at least. So you move down, you get a couple extra picks for next year. You get number 1 next year, and you get a top 3 player, I think Mason Graham as well, to go next to Myles Garrett. I think it's an excellent move getting that as well. But can you work this right? Can you navigate this right with the Browns' history of not doing it? Ashton Genty had this for the Raiders. I think this is exactly what Mark Davis was going to do as well. Tom Brady is now I think he's part of the decision-making there in Las Vegas. So Genty is going to be their starting running back. Picking 6, Armand Membu for the Jets. Membu, I think other people liked him more than I did. I think he's like on the right side. I think that's what you're probably going to see with him. He could be a very good right tackle on the other side, very good run block. I don't think he's a phenomenal pass blocker. I don't love his feet for tackle. Don't love it, but I think you had a lot of guys in the draft like that this year, even who the Ravens pick will go over. But it was like you had a lot of guys like that. Just feet weren't great, so you had to move in the right tackle and kick him inside. But Membu, I think Membu's definitely a need for them. Terriata McMillan, we mocked that to the Panthers. I think Bryce Young needs a number one receiver. So this was your best shot at taking a number one receiver, taking Terriata McMillan as well. Pretty much the number one receiver in the draft. I think he's a little flawed because he's not blazing speed. He's not huge. So I think there is a bit of a risk there. But he's a very, very good route runner, very solid route runner, very fundamentally sound, good career at Arizona. So makes a lot of sense. Number 8, Calvin Banks, number 9 for the Saints. Banks, I think, I had him as the best tackle in the draft. I thought if I was the pick, I was definitely going to take Calvin Banks. Saints definitely need it. They had Randon Ramczyk retire as well. The line was not very good anyway, so definitely this was a definite need. Teams have several needs, but as well. Carr did hear I see this on social media where Carr has his injury. He should be able to play though as well. But that's a whole nother thing. We won't go into Carr and his foolishness, but yeah, he should be able to play as well. Colston Leveland, number 10 for the Bears. A little bit of a surprise, a little higher. I thought they even with Tyler Warren on the board, they took Leveland. This was kind of like half a dozen of one and 2 dozen of the other. Leveland, I think, was a guy. If you wanted the downfield guy, the catcher, the pure pass catcher, I thought you like Colston Leveland. Tyler Warren, who went a little bit later, I thought was a more complete tight end. I kind of compared these two guys. If you like Shannon Sharp, you take Colston Leveland. If you like Ron Gronkowski, then you take Tyler Warren. That was kind of my comparison there. Number 11, Mikael Williams. A little bit higher than I thought, but probably the spot that the Niners would pick. An edge rusher, probably best run guy, I thought, out of those top edge guys. So I thought he was the one where you would take him as far as stopping, setting the edge, and all that. I think Mikael Williams was the best one. Kyler Booker went 12 to Dallas. I was a little bit surprised by this. I thought for sure Dallas would take the running back in the first round, but Booker, I think, was the best guard on the board without question. I thought Booker was a mauler, physically strong. You could put him in right away. I thought also, too, he has great hands. I think his hand placement, because of his body type, is a little underrated. He's not just a mauler. He has great hands. I like his footwork, etc. Guard pure, not really a tackle. So I think it's maybe a little high for a guard that won't be super elite off, but good, no problem with it. I mean, Booker is going to start for 10 years for you. So not a real problem there. Kenneth Grant from Michigan. A little surprised that the type of pick this was finally all the needs that the Dolphins had that they went to tackle. So Grant might be really good. I think him and Mason Graham are really good. I'd really like to see how he does outside of Mason Graham, though. That'd be interesting to see how well he does outside of that, because he got singled a lot at Michigan because he was playing next to such a really good player. Tyler Warren, I think the Colts are over the moon getting Tyler Warren. I think this is exactly what they needed. They needed an APS title. They had very little tight end production the last few years, and you get I think the best tight end in the draft. Tyler Warren falls to them. They've been talking about this in Indianapolis for a while. Warren, I think, is a perfect fit, no matter who the quarterback is under center. If you want to make a quarterback that's struggling better, give him a tight end more than even a wide receiver. That's definitely a move. Jalen Walker is going to stay in the state and go to the Atlanta Falcons. Walker, I think, slipped a little more than I thought he would. I think he's a more, again, 3-4 outside linebacker more than he is a D-line because he's a speed rusher. I think he can bend the edge really well. Kind of reminds me of Peter Bowler. People, when he came in the league, kind of had the same type of questions. Is he big enough, strong enough? He's going to just fly around those D tackles. He's going to fly around those offensive tackles consistently as well. So they addressed it. So they definitely addressed it here in the first round. Walter Nolan, big problems on the Cardinals defense. Their defense was not getting it done last year. Nolan, I thought, moved up higher than we'll talk that he was going to move up high towards the end. Nolan, I think, did a very good job at Ole Miss during the draft process. So this is about right, I think, where I saw that. I didn't know if the Cardinals were going to take him. I thought they might go edge, but no problem with Nolan. He might be a good pass rusher in time of his own right. Shamar Stewart, very polarizing player. Stewart, I think, has all the measurables. If you look at the measurables, he matches up with Myles Garrett. Everybody else has been a first-round pick. He's an athletic freak, definitely the guy. So you wonder how sometimes these guys turn out. Only 4.5 sacks at Texas A&M. You'll wonder if this is a guy that's going to do that. But I could say playing across from, if they can keep him, Trey Hendrickson, make anybody go. But Cardinals, Bengals, understandable in need. Just question if the player is going to be able to help you right away. I think he might need a little bit of time. Grace Abel got mocked a lot of times to Seattle. Very good at the Senior Bowl, small school, kick him in the guard. This is about plug and play here. He's going to play right away at guard. Going offensive lineman is very hard to miss in the first round. They probably have the highest hit rate. Usually guards especially. Usually if you take one this high, there's not a lot of misses. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Emeka Buga for the Bucks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Surprising. I didn't think they would do this. So Emeka Buga, I got no problem with the player. I think he is going to be a good player. They're looking towards the future here is the only thing I can kind of think. They have Jalen McMillan. They re-signed Chris Godwin, and they still have Mike Evans. And then you take another wide receiver. So that's a little not the direction I thought they'd go. They need some linebacker. They need safety help. But this is definitely the thought is I've got to thinking the thought is you're not going to have Mike Evans much longer. So you want to build that up now. That's what I'm thinking. Jahdae Barron is my favorite player in the draft. Barron, I think, is a dog. Love the way he plays. He plays with reckless abandon. He can play on the outside. I think he's a much better player, by the way, on the outside. I think you watch the film, I think people think he's just this guy, this disruptor or in the slot. No, this guy can play outside. Not as good as, not the best one in the draft, maybe. But Jahdae Barron, I think, is the real deal. Good pick. Everybody was good. I was going to say whoever got Jahdae Barron in the draft. Couple more. Squealers, take Derek Harmon, defensive tackle. I don't know who's going to play quarterback. I don't. It looks like they better get Aaron Rodgers. And again, I'm assuming that's what they're thinking. Derek Harmon's a really good player. So Cam Hayward's getting older and it makes a lot of sense. Harmon, you could argue, is the best tackle in the draft. I liked him better than Kenneth Graham. I think some people thought he was better than Mason Graham, but he was right there. A little bit of an injury issue. I think that's probably the reason why Graham separated from him and dropped him. Good pick at 20, but they really need the quarterback. Marion Hampton, this is the replacement for J.K. Dobbins, I think, for the Chargers. So in the offseason, they signed Najee Harris. Look, Chargers are going to run the football. Stop being surprised. I think some people was like actually surprised. No, they're going to run the ball all the time. and this is a Jim Harbaugh offense. Greg Roman offense. No, you don't have enough running backs. So it didn't shock me at all. They didn't need linemen. I thought they might take a receiver. I mean, they definitely need, but they're going to run the ball. It doesn't surprise me that they want to load up a running back. It doesn't shock me. Matt Golden, I think the Packers very rarely now take a wide receiver in the first round. They did this year for the first time. I think it's 20 years or something like that, where the Pack took a wide receiver in the first round. Definitely needed with all the injuries that they had as well. So Jordan Love gets another weapon, probably maybe the fastest receiver in the entire draft. Donovan Jackson for the Vikings, he's going to get to protect the guy he played against in college. J.J. McCarthy. So definitely the Buckeyes and the Michigan going to have to go ahead and figure it out. No problem with it. No problem with that. Not real sexy pick there, but no problem with it. Donovan Jackson, putting him at guard. No real beef with that. I think probably the rest of the draft, I didn't love it, but yeah, it makes sense. I mean, getting a guy there to help on the offensive line. Jackson Dart. So they passed on Shador, needing a quarterback, and they took Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. I figured he was going to go in the first. I figured the Steelers might do it, but they passed. So the Giants moved back in and get him. I don't mind this. I don't mind this too much. I think because he's probably not going to play. Russell Wilson's there. He's developmental. Other people seem to like him more than I did. I kind of have him at the top of the list of the next group of quarterbacks in the draft behind Shador and Cam Ward, simply because I think out of all those other ones, he has the measurables. He's tall. He's like 6'5". He's got the better arm. I don't love his arm, but he's got all the things. So I think that's probably why he's higher on the list there. Dart, but he's not going to play right away. I think because Russell Wilson is there, James Winston is there, so he's going to get a chance to develop. A couple more. James Pierce. So the Falcons really address the edge. They're going to have Jalen Walker on the other side, James Pierce on the other side. This is more of a roll of the dice. I think he's pretty good. Again, some off the field stuff that kind of pushed him down. Pierce, I think, is in a need for sure. So definitely one thing the Falcons needed. They needed defense. I thought they gave up a lot for this, but I understand that they really must think that this guy can really fit in for them. So I understand definitely a need fitting that pass rush. Ravens, Malachi Starks. The ADC's done it again. Top safety in the entire draft, Malachi Starks. Is it the biggest need? No. Is the player outstanding? Outstanding. You're absolutely right. This guy is definitely going to plug and play right next to Kyle Hamilton. So you're going to see a lot of the same things that you thought you were going to get with Marcus Williams, with Malachi Starks as well. Telek Williams, Ohio State tackle. This is a little higher, I think, than I would have taken him. I think he was probably a mid-second, but they definitely have a need on defense. I thought for sure they were going to go defense some kind of way. They're getting back 8. They're hoping to get back 8. Hutchinson fix their defense. They're a Super Bowl contender. So they're a Super Bowl contender. They're right in it as well. Josh Connolly for Oregon for the Commanders. I got no problem with this. I mean, they definitely not their biggest need. I thought they might go defense. I thought they might have had a bigger need there, but I got no problem with Connolly. Connolly, I think, was the best pass blocking tackle in the draft. Probably next to, not better than Will Campbell maybe, but the second best I thought as well. Pass rusher pure. Somebody I think you could put at left tackle. Maybe not right away, but definitely there. Maxwell Harrison did Dylan was talking to him, Spunky Spectrum Sport, and he loves Maxwell Harrison. He's moving up forwards, tremendous speed. Maxwell Harrison. Bills, I didn't think needed any one thing. I think secondary was a need, but I didn't think they needed any one thing. This was kind of a pick. They're such a good team. They could have picked at several different positions. Jai Campbell, Eagles move up one spot to take Jai Campbell as well. Campbell, I think, was the best inside linebacker in the draft by a good margin. So if you're looking for that and you're the Eagles, I understand why you want to make sure you get Jai Campbell, because it was a pretty big, to me, gap between him and everybody else. So definitely makes sense. Josh Simmons for the Chefs. I think that was the last one, right at 32. Take a guy, a little bit of a risk because of the injury, but I think he goes higher without it. But Simmons, I think, is going to start for them at left tackle right away. I think they definitely – this is 9-1-1 for the Chefs. I mean, why did they lose the Super Bowl? They couldn't protect Pat Mahomes. The only time they seem to lose is when they can't protect Pat Mahomes. There you go. The draft. So, the Chefs, I get it. I mean, I'm trying to think if I can think of a team that moved the needle a lot in the draft, and I don't know if it was as well. Teams kind of held form. I don't think anything in particular said, wow, okay. A lot of players, I think, kind of in the same area in the draft. So I don't think any one team particularly moved the needle there. So we'll see how that is as well as far as teams in the draft. We'll go over it as well. We'll definitely go over the AFC North and all that fun stuff here pretty soon. So we'll definitely be going over that. So let's take a look at our squad. The Ravens, how did we do in the NFL draft? They did make all 11 picks for sure. So the Ravens did make all 11 picks in the draft. That didn't surprise me at all. I think they moved up, down. I think late in the rounds they had like 4 or 6 rounders, which was crazy. So let's go over what the Ravens did. We already talked about Malachi Starks doing a comp for all these players. I kind of said I kept saying Brian Dawkins. So I might as well use the comp for Brian Dawkins. I think that's maybe a little high because he's a Hall of Famer, but a complete safety. Guy, I've seen Malachi Starks do so many different things. He can take the ball away if you lift the ball in his area. He can hit at the point of contact. He can play the run. He plays with a lot of energy. That's all the things B-Dawk did. So, again, I don't want to put too much pressure, but this is the type of player that you're getting when you're talking about Malachi Starks as well. Definitely the best safety in the draft. I don't think there's any question about it. So they went ahead and waited. This was probably the best pick in the entire draft. Mike Green from Marshall, the Thundering Herd for you West Virginia people. Mike Green, we're going to talk about Shador. This was makes it pretty. So Mike Green apparently had some sexual assault issues at Virginia. He had some sexual assault issues, I think, in high school. They're going to go into that. But what happened was we had him in the first round on a lot of boards, and it dropped him down to like 59. And so he was still there. This was a super easy pick. This guy, the one concern we had is with the contract of Oweh and Van Noy getting older, how good would the pass rush be? Now you don't have to worry because Mike Green is a stud. 17 sacks last year. Outstanding at the Senior Bowl. A little bit worried about the level of competition that he had. Brian Burns, I think, is a great comp for him. Kind of a similar type player. Burns, I think, is a 10-plus sack guy. Green's for sure. I think it's going to be a 10-plus sack guy. They're going to ease him in, I think, because there are 2 veterans in front of him. But the sky's the limit for Mike Green. I think this is outstanding. The rest of the draft, believe it or not, I didn't love it. I didn't love the tackle picks overall, but there's a potential there. We'll see. Let's say Emory Jones. I think I have him. He played right tackle at LSU. He's going to play guard, I think, for the Ravens. I think he's going to be on the left guard competition. I think, really they took guys with the measurables, the size, really big guy, plays well. Definitely what you're seeing now is they picked a bunch of guys that can do that zone blocking scheme. That's what he can do as well. So I don't think he plays tackle, at least not right away. But I think he's going to definitely be in that left guard spot, maybe right guard, and kind of compete there as well. Zach Tom of the kind of the same type of guy. All the measurables there, big guy, 6'5". Emory Jones, I think, is I didn't love it, but I get it. They definitely had to go offensive line in the first 3 rounds. They definitely had to do it, in my opinion. Teddy Buchanan, California. Again, not necessarily the guy I liked. I think Chris Call was on the board. These linebackers weren't particularly great, I thought, in this particular draft. So they must see something in this guy. He's got really good speed, more of a straight line guy. I think he's going to help you more at the line of scrimmage than he is at like in coverage, at least right away. Eric Kendricks, right, is for the Vikings. I think he's a similar type of guy, similar type of body type as well. He's definitely, I think, probably going to be some competition there with Trent Simpson is there as well. So I said Andy Jefferson again. Teddy Buchanan and Trenton Simpson. I think they're going to be they're going to go after it for the inside linebacker. Carson Vincent from Alabama A&M. Huge guy, 6'7", 300 plus pounds. The comp, because it's just on sheer size, was Daniel Falele. So you can take that for, that's kind of what I saw. But he's a little better in the zone blocking than Falele is. He's not going to see the field much in 2025. Not at all. He's definitely a guy that looking at down the line for when Ronnie Stanley moves on. Maybe you can put this guy in and see. Maybe he'll play. Doubtful he'll play right away. But I think this is a guy they're going to develop. Just sheer size is the draw here as well. I'd like to see somebody with a little bit more at a bigger school, etc. But I understand the pick there as well, getting a really big offensive tackle. Blau Cone, BK from Western Michigan. Long, lean guy. Both of these cornerbacks that they took are kind of long, lean guys. Byron Murphy was kind of like of the Vikings, kind of the same, like a long, lean guy as well. I think he's going to – down in the area where I don't know if he makes the team, but I definitely think he's going to have a shot at it. He's going to be in a fight with Justin Armour Davis. The other pick here we're going to talk about, Cohen, I think, has great speed, though. Great speed. I think, definitely they're going to try and keep more practice squad if they can't get it. Yeah. We just talked about Tyler Luke last week during the mock draft. So, Tyler Luke for Arizona. So, when Borales went to New England, kind of like in fantasy drafts, I think they had a little bit more sense of urgency. Hey, man, we better start moving. And this is going to be your starting kicker. They haven't said as much, but they're going to say probably goodbye to the GOAT, Justin Tucker. You don't take a kicker in the draft and to not play him. You don't do that. You bring him in a free agency or something like that. You don't bring a guy, you don't draft a guy and then not play him. So I think this is going to be your guy, Tyler Luke. Excellent percentage at Arizona. So that's the only concern. He played at Arizona. He's going to be playing in Baltimore as well. And by the way, and you're not going to be able to replace the Justin Tucker all the years. Yeah, all you can do is find the next guy and hope that you're not going to be able to replace Justin Tucker in this part. I mean, you're probably not going to see that. LeJontay Wester from Colorado played at several different schools. David Patton of the Patriots was the guy, was the comp that I had for him. Kind of a smallish type of receiver. I think you'll see him some, but where he's really going to make value, and they made no bones about it when they said it, punt return. This is probably going to be the guy they're going to use on the punt return. They were not happy with Deontay Hardy, Tom Wallace, maybe more of a kick returner. This is a guy they're bringing in, especially for the punt return. Last year was a rare year where they weren't overly happy with the special teams. So they really made an effort here, these last two picks especially, to get better on the special team. Aeneas Fub Peebles. Fub, I don't know what the nickname's for, but that's what they call him. Fub Peebles played at Virginia Tech. Shelby Harris, the Browns, is the comparison. I think this is a guy that's for sure going to make the roster. Quick three technique guy. They definitely have needs here for it. So I'm a little surprised they didn't take more of these guys, but this assures it. Really quick, little smallish. That's a bit of a thing. You're going to be at the next level now. These guys, offensive linemen, are bigger, stronger, whatever. So he's able to have his way a lot at Virginia Tech. Can he do the same thing in next level? But he's probably not going to start. You can kind of in a rotation on third down. Excellent pick. Great speed as well. Can he be over time a complete tackle? That's the question as well. And Robert Longerbeam. So they drafted two guys that are very similar from what I can see. Benjamin St. Just for the Commanders. Again, kind of long, lean, skinny, lat speed, about 6 feet tall. The measurements, all the measurables are there. I'm not sure him and Cone, BK both make the team. I think only one of them does. One of them possibly be on the practice squad. We will see. as well. But good speed. I think like working on the defense, taking a guy late that can possibly help you. And this is a guy I think is going to be on practice squad. Gary Dillinger, guard center for the Saints. Landon Young was to come. Dillinger, I think, is fine. I think this is actually a good late pick. I like it better than Nick Samak. I think they're going to try him in center for sure. That's the one thing. They're going to need a backup center. I don't think you have one now with Macari gone. They're going to have to look at that. So definitely, I think that's going to be the competition with him and Nick Samak for the backup center role, even though I know he played guard in college. He's definitely going to play guard in guard competition. But I think pretty sure they're going to try him at center. There you go. All right. So, and that's the Ravens draft as well. They did take some undrafted free agents. I didn't have the whole list put up for you, but I did like Jay Higgins as far as your undrafted free agents. He is absolutely a guy. We talk about Jay Higgins. Here. Get some more like that. There you go. So Jay Higgins was a guy that really was a guy who could have been drafted as well. So he's definitely, I think, going to be interesting. I like him almost pretty much as Teddy Buchanan. So he'll be interesting as well in the competition there as well. A couple Ravens, those real quick. Today, Kyle Hamilton, his fifth-year option was picked up by the Ravens. Tyler Linderbaum was not. So I don't want you fans to worry too much about the not signing Tyler Linderbaum. The thing was with Tyler Linderbaum, if they had picked up the option, there's no real option to pay a center. Centers generally get less than tackles. That's why they didn't pick it up. So they'd have to pay him at it kind of lists like with the option offensive line. So who are the highest paid guys on the offensive line? The tackles. Centers get a little bit less. That's why they didn't pick it up. They would have had to pay him like an offensive tackle, and they don't want to pay him like an offensive tackle. They're going to play him like a center. I am very positive that they're going to work out a deal with Tyler Linderbaum and not let him walk out the door. Because I think at this point, you could argue he's the centerpiece of the line, either him or Ronnie Stanley. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the NBA playoffs. So let's go ahead and talk about that. All right, so let's go into that. What's going on? Second round starting this weekend in the NBA playoffs. First round series have already concluded or haven't or about to conclude their NBA playoffs there as well. So Thunder went ahead and handled business with the Grizzlies 4-0. No big surprise as well. Thunder, I think they're the best team in the NBA. I don't think there's any question about it. I think the Grizzlies are better than what they showed, but they fired the coach. They had a bad seed. They struggled a bit late. I think like what people are going to say is panic about getting rid of. You don't want to do that. I think they're good enough. They have a lot of good young players. Run it back, get a coach, and show some patience. And that's the thing.
What, Lonnie? Oh, Mom, did you see the gift I got for Teresa?
All right, we got it back there. All right, second series. Nuggets up 3-2 over the Clippers. I've kind of said I think the Clippers are a bit of a fraud. I don't, Harden, I don't think is the guy there. Kawhi plays well at times as well. But I said I've been very surprised if Nikola Jokic has been really good in this series. No surprise at all to me that's what's going on. Timberwolves up 3-1 over the Lakers. Bit of a surprise. I think the Anthony Edwards playing well never surprises me, but I think the fact that he's outplayed Luka Doncic in this series is a bit of a surprise as well. The Lakers roster just doesn't look strong enough. I mean, you got two of the top 5 players in the league, and it's a massive drop off as well. Let's see if the Clippers could close the show, even though I know it's 3 T-Wolves can close the show, but I'm not as convinced of that. Golden State up 3-1, but they're losing tonight to the Warriors. Warriors up 107-84 over. Rockets up 107-84 over the Warriors as well. Warriors should win this series. They don't have the horses. This kind of reminds me of so many of the Pat Riley teams back in the day when I talk about the Heat and Heat culture and things. The Rockets are kind of like that. They have good coaching. They have a pretty good first player, Jalen Green, not as consistent during the series. With Jimmy Butler, I think coming back sooner than expected. That is probably the reason why they're getting as far as they're getting as well. Reading the box score now. But it's 104-7. There we go. So Steph Curry with 13 tonight, subpar for him as well. Huge night for the Houston offense. Van Fleet with 21, Aaron Thompson with 20. Yeah, so good night for them as well. I don't think they win the series, but I do think like they probably the wrong matchup to go against a team with experience as Warriors. 4-0. 4-0. Cavs over the Heat in this series. Cavs. I don't think there's any question about it. They won it the last game 138-83. Some people are calling for Pat Riley to go in Miami. I don't know about that. I don't know if that can. I don't know if that's going to help you as well. Pat is now 80 years old. I mean, it might be starting. I would say if you keep him, it is about that time to start thinking about what's next. At that point, Pat is about 80 years old. As crazy as he's been, but he gets him at least to the playoffs. I mean, I think like with that, Pat is building teams. I think they almost look at that as a weird thing. Everybody in the NBA, all they ever want to do is find the next LeBron James, find a Michael Jordan. Hey, how about we find good players that play in our system and play well? It almost sounds like there's something wrong with that. So anyway, but they weren't as good as the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are moving on to the next round. Bucks 4-1. Bucks 4-1 now. They're eliminated by the Pacers. Close last game. Pacers win. Giannis Antetokounmpo going ahead, getting into a fight with Tyrese Halliburton's dad or argument. Then there was an apology and all this other stuff that was going on. Pacers are where they are. I think this is about what they are. I think they're kind of in the same level for as long as you remember. Second round, get out of the first round, go to the second round. Maybe they get to the conference finals. We'll see now how good the Cavs are against a good Pacers team. Tyrese Halliburton really playing well, I thought, in that series. Knicks and the Pistons. In this series. Knicks up 3-2 as well. This is a bit of a toss-up. I'm really not one way or the other. I think both of these teams are very similar. The Knicks have a little bit more experience. They're kind of the same. I think Brunson, is the best player on the court. I don't think he's a super elite player. Really, really good. But I think there's kind of a ceiling with both of these teams. I don't think they're kind of they're not at that level. I think with a Cleveland and the Thunder and the Nuggets and those teams. I think they're not quite there yet. But I think this would be. I'd be surprised if this didn't go 7 games as well. And Celtics already sent the Magic home. No surprise. Celtics, I think, are the Celtics. I think have a date with the Cavaliers in the conference finals. I think Jason Tatum, is really anxious to show the world that he is one of the best players or the face of the NBA. So there you go. Us recapping the NBA playoffs there that are going on right now. So we're gonna do a little bit more of a deep dive next week when it's like so now we get down from 8 to 4 in the NBA. All right. Well, the Orioles have been terrible. That's putting it nicely. That's not the right graphic. That's the right graphic. All right. So Orioles April recap. So we every month, like we kind of recap the whole month in addition to our Orioles report. So we're not just going over just what happened this week. Orioles did win tonight. It looks like 5-4. The Mount getting his fourth save of the year as well. So that's good as well. The stats here are not factored tonight's game because we're obviously doing this tonight while the game was going on. So good job on the Orioles. Now 12-18 after the win and winning. Is that 4 out of 10? I think it's still 3 out of 10 that they've won. So I think it's 3 out of the last 10. Not great as well. Still in 5th place in the AL East, which for those of you that are confused, which is last, even though they won 2 out of 3 in this series against the Yankees. Batting order. So we're going to go over this as well. Cedric Mullins, I think, has been in leadoff. He's deserved it. He's been the best Oriole in terms of offensive production, hitting for power. He's been outstanding defensively, as he always is. I think the record you're seeing, had it not been for Cedric Mullins, it would have been far worse. I think he's been fantastic at the start, back in the leadoff spot. I think it really took a lot of players struggling for him to get back at the top of the batting order as well. So that's been good. Gunnar Henderson and Adley, I'm going to talk about them both at the same time because they're both basically had a slow start. Gunnar, I think has been hard on because he didn't play at all in spring. So it didn't surprise me that Gunnar didn't do well early in the spring. It just didn't surprise me because he didn't play at all. He kind of played a little bit in Norfolk, so they brought him up. He's still kind of working his way in. I do see him coming around a bit as well. So I'm not overly worried about Gunnar quite yet. Adley, I don't think has been off to a great start as well. Not hitting for average. I think his power number, but I see kind of the same things. For whatever reason, he didn't go off to a good start. He seems to be coming around a bit. The lights coming on, but they haven't been great. I think part of the offensive production, you cannot have a successful team and not have production from Gunnar Henderson, production from Adley Rutschman. Not going to work. So you're not going to be able to do that as far as getting good production from those guys. So definitely you have to do that. Ryan O'Hearn, I think is probably I think if you want to say he's been the best offensive production, I think I got no problem with that. He's actually had to play different positions. He's actually had to play in the outfield. He's not just DHing every day as well because of all the injuries that they've had. But Ryan O'Hearn's been really good. I think he's been hitting for power, production as well. Jordan Westbrook's been DHing, and I kind of said this last week. They didn't announce it, but now he's on IL because of an injury. Kind of figured that. Why was he DHing so much? It didn't say. They didn't even, nobody brought that up. Heston Kjerstad, average, not great yet, but he's hitting for some power. So I think he's off to a start. I think he needs to play every day. He needs to play. As a matter of fact, I'm going to skip to Jackson Holiday. The manager doesn't have confidence in Jackson Holiday, I don't think. I think there's no way you have confidence in him. He's being moved out on that too often for Jorge Mateo as well. He's hitting about 240. I got to look at it tonight. But he's hitting like 247. Mateo's hitting 100. Why is he not playing more? I do think that he doesn't have confidence for whatever reason. I don't know whether he feels he's too young. He knows more than I do. I'm thinking about that. I mean, I assume he knows more than that. But I definitely think that is the case. He's being moved in and out as well. Inconsistent so far. Mountie, I think he was good tonight. I think he hit a home run. Mountie's a bit streaky. He's hit like 194 his first month. He hasn't been any good. Most nights he's still not hitting as well. Urias has been typical Urias stuff. Average defense, average home run, average production, in like is decent at third base. I think on a really good team, Urias just isn't typical stuff for Urias. Can't really complain too much. He's not giving you anything that he didn't normally give you. So that's the case with Urias. Injuries, there's a lot of them. Zach Eflin, Jed Grayson Rodriguez, Kittredge, Colton Cowser, Tyler O'Neill, Westy, John Westberg, Gary Sanchez, Carl Bradish, Maverick Hanley's on the bench, replacing Sanchez, Jorge Mateo, Dylan Carlson's in as well, up from AAA. Roman Lotto is the guy there. Tyler Wells, Andrew Suarez. So that is
like 2:00 at night.
Tyler Wells, Andrew Suarez. So those are the well as well. Talk about it a little bit. O'Neill should be back soon. Westy shouldn't be out long here. Sanchez probably a little bit more here. Eflin should be back any day now, so I don't think it's long. Kittredge is throwing on the side as well. Tons of injuries. Like you're missing your three best pitchers. Right? Those are your three best pitchers on injury. Eflin, Rodriguez, Bradish, maybe you're one of your better relievers. Colton Cowser, you're missing a lot of production. He just went to 60 day. That's not. I didn't even get to Wells and Suarez, who were good contributors last year. Rotation, Charlie Morton has been horrible. 9.45, and that's down. And that's down because he had the relief outing that actually lowered it as well. Dean Kramer, 2-3, 6.84. No surprise with Kramer. He's good one start. He's bad one start. I used to say that about Bradish. Good Kyle, bad Kyle, same thing. Good Dean, bad Dean. You'll get as well. Sagano, I think, probably is on the list as well. The record would have been far worse. Sagano, usually guys that come from Japan and pitch, you see they're good at the first half of the season. Why? There's no book on them. So guys are still trying to figure out what they do. And there's really no scouting report as much on those guys. So they do well. I think Sagano has done well. He's clearly easily been their best pitcher. Povich tonight didn't get the win. I think he went 4.5. He's kind of like Kramer as well. Picked it up a little bit better. 4 2/3 tonight. A little bit represented, like 5.16 total ERA. Maybe he's getting better. I hope so. But that's it. Brandon Young's been up and down. 0-1, 6.23 ERA as well. Not great in his starts as well. We'll see him definitely because of all the injuries. Batista gets the save tonight as well. He's been terrific. They just haven't used him much because they haven't won much. So I think that's definitely a thing. But he did get the save tonight as well. I think his velocity is down. He doesn't look like I don't see those 150 mile an hour. I don't mind that so much. I mean, if it keeps him off the IL. But bullpen hasn't been as bad as people think. Dominguez 2.79, Soto 4.91. This is of last night's game. Perez has been not good, obviously. He's been the 9.69. Cano's been really good. I'm surprised they're not using Cano more. Again, like Jackson Holiday, it doesn't seem like, even when he plays well, that Hyde has confidence in him. Strange. Like, I've seen it with Cano. He hasn't given up any runs at all, but yet until you kind of like leveraging him. It's weird. Aiken's been really good. He actually got the spot start the other week when they moved Morton to the bullpen. Barker, I think, has been really good all season. Matt Bowman kind of struggled more lately as well. He's gotten better lately despite all of the issues. There you go. So, Orioles not good. Did get a win tonight. Really need to, I think, play Kjerstad and Holiday every day. I think that's just kind of crazy to me. Why you're trying so hard to play Jorge Mateo. And on the pitching side has been bad. You're just kind of waiting for the cavalry. You're just kind of waiting for Eflin to come back. I don't know if you're going to have Grayson this year. You should have Eflin at some point. You should have Bradish at some point. So they got to hold on to till the cavalry counts. Real quick, I was going to discuss it. I think I kind of moved past it. I do want to talk real quick. Mel Kiper. Leave Mel alone, all you football fans out here. Mel, I think, hasn't changed at all. A lot of people wanting him fired for the way he acted during the draft. He was really going nuts because of the Shedeur Sanders drop in the draft. So I think that was kind of weird. I think the difference is the panel is different on there. Mel kind of acts that way. But back in the day, had Chris Mortensen been there, Chris Berman would have been there, somebody would have pushed back. They kind of just looked at him. They didn't really fight and push back there. McShay, whatever, would have gave him a hard time. I think, but he's always kind of been the same guy. Clay Travis kind of made a stupid comment. Well, if you're so smart, why aren't you a GM? Well, he actually did work with Ernie Kersey, who worked with the Baltimore Colts. So that's not true that he hasn't worked with a team he doesn't understand. So I leave Mel alone. Mel is 60-something years old now. He's still fired up. But I think all the Mel stuff was kind of although he was crazy, acting crazy about Shedeur as well, because we've never seen that. Shedeur got drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns. Strange. We just talked about Mike Green going all the way down to the 5th round, going all the way to the 2nd round. Mike Green has sexual assault allegations and dropped from like 10 to 59. I've never seen a player where you thought it was a 1st round pick go all the way to the 5th round. That's crazy. Don't talk to me about gold chains and all that other stuff. What they were worried about is you bring his son in and they're going to bring his dad in as coach and they're going to fire you. That's what you're worried about. That's what happened. That's why Shedeur got picked in the 5th round. The owner, and just my opinion, where the owner picked in Cleveland was able to go ahead and he put a stop to this and said, look, you're going to take Shedeur because he was sitting right there. That's what happened. So in life, more important than money, more important than riches or whatever is self-preservation. And these coaches were protecting themselves. No way a guy is projected that high, and maybe let's even put him high, not as high as people thought he was. He falls all the way to the 5th round because you didn't like his attitude. You know, I think about the old thing about Jimmy Johnson real quick. Jimmy Johnson said he once cut a player, not good in meetings and all that other stuff. Jimmy Johnson said he once cut a player because he fell asleep in a meeting. Well, somebody asked him, well, had it been Troy Aikman, would you cut him? No, I just told him to wake up. So that's what kind of what I mean. Miss me with you're so mad about the whiteboard and the meetings. No, they didn't want to have Dion hovering around them to possibly take their job. That's what it was. That's why he dropped. All right. Orioles report back on the track there. Dylan Carlson moved up from AAA Norfolk as well. Tyler O'Neill went on a 10-day deal, retroactive 24th. Grant Wortham went to Norfolk, option Brandon Young to Norfolk. Young has been up and down several times as well. Norfolk went back down to Norfolk, option Brandon Young went Norfolk, and they selected the contract of Colin Shelby and then returned Colin Shelby to Norfolk. Musical chairs. So many injuries, guys going up and down here. Kyle Stroud from Cade Stroud up from Norfolk, option Grant Woodrum to Norfolk. Selected the contract of Maverick Hanley and Emmanuel Rivera from Norfolk. Back up and down again. That's why I think I already did that one. Yeah, sorry, I did that. So, claim Walter Pennington from Rangers from the Texas Rangers. Gary Sanchez and Jordan Westberg went on the 10-day IL. Transferred Colton Cowser from the 10-day IL to the 60-day. There's only so many guys you can keep on the 10-day. Cowser's already missed a month, so they moved him to the 60-day. Transferred also Grayson Rodriguez to the 60-day IL. Recalled Kyle Gibson from the minor leagues. Option Cade Stroud. So Stroud went back down. Trevor Rogers is going on a rehab assignment in Norfolk. We could be seeing him pretty soon in the majors. Yankees, 6 home runs against the Orioles in a lopsided defeat, 15-3 in the game on Tuesday night. That's the second time in 3 weeks the Orioles have lost by 12 or more runs. Fourth time in 3 weeks they've lost by 7 or more runs. These games are looking like football games. Like, how are you losing by 12 and 7? That's how bad the starting pitching has been. The quiet kept the bullpen is actually, when I looked at it, it's actually been better than I thought it was. Like, it hasn't been that bad, but they can't get anything from the starters. They're not getting anything from the starters, and their offense has been scuffling. Kittredge has been throwing recently in a practice session and is expected to rehab soon. I think we're going to get Kittredge in the next 2-3 weeks. I'd be surprised. I mean, it depends on how the rehab goes, but I think we're going to get him pretty soon. Used Cedric Varner out of the bullpen last night. Kyle Gibson got his first start of the year, and that seems like that's going to be the plan. Mercifully, Morton's going to the bullpen. I just know the way to slice it. I mean, he's lucky they didn't just DFA him out and out because they're spending so much money on him. I think that's the reason why they're doing that. Sagano, Felix Bautista, and Mullins, who's hot. Pretty much there's not a lot of hot. You lost so many games. But these guys have really played well. Sagano, I think, has been clearly the best pitcher. Bautista, I think, has been decent, except for his first outing as well. They haven't used him much. Mullins has been fantastic. Not good. Dean Kramer, Matt Bowman, Sir Anthony Dominguez in this last week. Dominguez, not great so far this week. A little better tonight. Kramer, up and down. Bowman, kind of the same, up and down. This week, Kansas City Royals. Again, so like the Ravens, Orioles have had trouble with Kansas City. Royals have knocked them out in the playoffs the last few times. 2 of the last 3 times they've been. And the Minnesota Twins going to Minnesota and play. And it's not a repeat. Ryan O'Hearn, I think, the second week in a row, I think, was player of the week. I think without Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric on offense, there's nothing. A lot of guys are struggling. So shout out to those guys for getting it done. Thank you very much this week for the Ravery Sports Podcast and joining us this week. Major announcement about ravorisports.company.site. Very excited about the new partnership we're going to have. We're going to announce that next week. I'm going to take all the paperwork to the lawyers this week before I announce it and everything. So you'll be seeing it next week. We'll be happy to go ahead and get squared away. You guys have a great rest of your evening.